Good, y'all. Dr. Trehunna. So today what we're going to cover is why bread is so bad for you, okay? So we all grew up all our lives where it's saying, hey, bread is not really favorable for you to consume day in and day out. And today I'm going to go ahead and break down exactly why bread is not good for you. Simple. Okay, so first things first, what you got to take into consideration is bread is a man-made product, which means what? I never seen a bread bush before, okay? I never just seen a loaf of bread just flopping around in the ocean, all right? That means somebody had to create this thing, okay? So that's already a problem within itself, all right? Now, in order for you to naturally make bread, all you need is two ingredients: wheat and wheat, flour, okay? Whole grain wheat to be preferable, and water. Flour, water. That's it. Now, what I'd like for you to do is go ahead and look at your bread that you have in your pantry and just look at how many extra other ingredients that they added to it, okay? And the reason why is because it's so processed, it's taking out all the vitamins and minerals in it that they had to re-add it in, okay? So that is a problem within itself, okay? But ultimately, the main reason why bread is a problem is because the properties that it actually has inside the plant, all right? So just to give y'all an evolutionary tale, okay? Bread only been existing, or wheat has only been existing, and humans only been storing and harvesting it for 10,000 years. Keep in mind, they said that, as humans, we've been on this earth for millions of years, and there was different types of humans, etc., okay? There was Neanderthals, Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, little things like that. Cool. But now us, right? We been on this earth for X amount of years, right? And just to give you an idea of how new bread is, it's kind of like you've been growing up all your entire life. You never seen a phone, right? And then you see, once again, a cord phone, and now you're seeing an iPhone. So just imagine like you're 80 years old and you finally see this thing that literally makes no sense to you. Like, how in the world this little cellular device is able to communicate with somebody in China, okay? Kind of blows your mind a little bit, right? Or I see this airplane flying in the sky that's 10,000 pounds in the air, or 50,000 pounds in the air. How is it able to fly? And it got people in it, okay? So that is how new bread is to human beings, all right? It is a very new concept, or a very new type of food. So your body already is not really accustomed to it, all right? Now, how do plants exist, all right? And how do us as animals exist? Animals have claws, animals can run, right? Animals can fight. Plants cannot do nothing. They're literally immobile, which means what? They cannot move, right? But at the end of the day, plants still want to live, because a lot of people don't understand plants are living things. We heard that all our life, okay? Plants are just not there for us to pick up from the ground and eat anytime we want to. Plants actually want to live. They want to procreate so they can continue to, mass produce throughout the earth, all right? And populate. So what a lot of plants do, because they cannot move, right? Because they cannot fight back, because they don't got no talons or claws, they have or do something called chemical warfare. All right. So what they basically do is they basically produce some agents or some proteins that basically mess you up. All right. And basically what it does is when animal eats the plant, right, and eats the protein, and the protein I'm referring to today is wheat germ agglutinin and lectins, okay? So if you read my book, you heard me say something about lectins, okay? What lectins do, it causes systemic inflammation, okay? And it also causes intestinal gut permeability, okay? Which means what? That is mostly the start to a lot of chronic diseases, okay? So what happens is when you are eating something that has lectins in it, okay? And believe it or not, it's just not bread, all right? It is nightshade plants, such as tomatoes, such as chili, such as green and red peppers, such as potatoes, such as eggplants. So once again, potatoes, tomatoes, chili, eggplant, and red peppers and green peppers, okay? These are nightshade vegetables, and what these do is it cause a lot of problems in the gut, because these are fairly new to humans digesting these types of foods. So once again, plants do not want to be eaten. They want to survive, okay? So what they do is they have these lectins in it, and what these are basically natural pesticides. So it wasn't made for you, right? It was made to protect itself from insects, right? And whatever herbivores that was around. right? Now, fast forward, humans are basically the main people or the main animal that eats lectins or eats wheat or eat grain or eat rice. Okay, so what these lectins do, once again, it causes a lot of problems in the gut, right? It causes gut permeability, which means what? In your body, you have a mucosal layer, right? And your intestines, okay? Once again, your 70 to 80% of your immune system is hosted in your gut. Why? Because majority of the bacteria, majority of the pathogens, majority of the problems are ingested because of you, okay? Now, you go ahead and eat a food, right? It's going down, it goes to the stomach, your stomach try to break it through. But the funny thing is, with lectins, it literally can bypass the stomach, okay? Because it can be resistant to stomach acid, okay? So it's making its way to small intestine, not breaking down in its full form, right? And it's going through, right? And it gets into your intestines. And what's gonna happen in your intestine is your body is supposed to already have these things breaking down so it can start absorbing the nutrients in your large intestine, preferably in your small intestine, all right? But because it made it to your large intestine unscathed, what is gonna happen is this lectin can basically bind to your enterocytes, okay? And what this basically does, it literally causes your tight junctions to open up. So just to give you an insight on how it works, it's basically like you got a hole in your stomach, okay? So let's say you have a screen door, right? And what does a screen door do? It allows air to come in, but it's supposed to keep the bugs out. Now imagine if you have little bit of holes in your screen door, right? Now you have flies coming in. Now you got bees coming in on a summer day, right? Now you got mosquitoes coming in. So that's exactly what's happening in your gut, okay? And your body hates this, because what's happening is if you got these little holes in your guts and you're eating 5 to 6 times a day and you're eating bread with every single meal, right? You're just causing more damage and you're causing more gut permeability, which means what? Now, if you intake a pathogen or salmonella or anything of that nature, it can actually bypass the gut and it's going outside into your bloodstream. Now, when it gets inside your bloodstream, now your body is saying, hey, there's something wrong. It's going to start releasing something called cytokines that basically tells the immune system to rile up the troops. And now you're sick. And now you feel like you got no energy. And now you got leaky gut, which means what? The majority of the food that you're eating, some foods might be good, but majority of the food, because the average American eats a standard American diet, which mostly is processed foods and grains and wheats, right? It's going straight through into your bloodstream, right? And now you're causing a lot of systemic inflammation, okay? You're gonna experience a little bit more bloating, right? You're gonna experience a little bit more migraines, because believe it or not, it's gonna affect your brain too, right? You're gonna experience a lot of problems because of your diet. And once again, it all stems from majority nightshade plants, and it comes from some people, if you got like your lactose or whatever, you know you're not supposed to be eating a lot of dairy or lactose, and that's because lactose is kind of like a protein too. Okay, that means your body is not able or don't have the things necessary for it to break down lactose. Okay, I'm not lactose intolerant, which means what? I got my gut microbiome is able to break down lactose. You're just not able to, which is totally fine. Okay, you just gotta understand that there's a pro and con to everything. All right, but also if you are somebody who has celiac disease, right? Or that's why you're just seeing a big explosion of gluten-free products, okay? Because when some have gluten-free, then that means it has less lectins in it. But at the end of the day, it's still bread. It's still gonna have some lectins in it, okay? So always keep that in mind. Even though it's something that's gluten-free, it still got some components in it that's not gonna agree with your body. And not only this is for people that got celiac disease or are supposed to get like gluten-free products, these lectins in bread affects everybody, because once again, as humans, we only been eating grains for 10,000 years compared to us eating animal-based foods and things with omega-3s and omega-6s, which is walnuts and seeds and stuff like that, all our entire life. Somebody had to create this thing in the lab in order for you to eat this food that you're eating every single day, but you totally do not think about it because you grew up on these foods, all right? So that is the problem. So if you having bread here and there, is it gonna kill you? No. But you having bread every single day, especially if you got already kind of like, some autoimmune problems and little things like that, you can literally see a lot more flare-ups because you're having a lot more lectins. For instance, if you're somebody who has eczema, you need to get rid of the nightshade plants. And once again, it's because that's going to cause more flare-ups on your skin. You're going to notice your skin's going to be drying out a little bit more, and that's because majority of the components that you're giving your body is not able to break it down, and it's literally affecting your whole entire system. It is a systemic inflammation. If you got rheumatoid arthritis, believe it or not, you having a lot of lectins can literally cause more inflammation, which means what? Your knees hurt a little bit more, your joints hurt a little bit more, okay? And this all comes from diet. Okay, that's why we was all taught that all diseases start in the gut. Because if you're always inflamed, which means what? That means your immune system is always working, right? If it's always working, just like if you go for a run, you might be good for your run for the first 5 minutes. You might be good for the run for the first hour. But after 2 hours, you're like, bro, if I could stop running, I would love to. But what happens is a lot of people is in chronic inflammation state, which means what? Your inflammation is always going, which means what? Your immune system day by day is getting weaker, right? And you also getting weaker. That's why when you're sick, you don't want to move. Everything happens for a reason, because your inflammation and your system and your immune system is working and it's continue to work, right? And last but not least, you're going to get to a point where now you eat anything or you have some, a health ailment or a health complication, and you're really taking a toll, or it's really taking a toll on you because your immune systems are weak and can't really fight back, okay? So that's why overall, I tell my clients that, look, if you go into the store, if the bread got less than 5 grams of carbs and sugar per serving, you can have it. But at the end of the day, bread is bread. So you shouldn't be having it every single day because, it's a better version of bread. Bread is still bread. All right. So hopefully y'all learned something today. Okay. I try to give y'all a little breakdown of how exactly why bread is really made an issue. You can have it here. You can have it there. You can have it on occasions. 1 to 2 times a week is not going to kill you. But it will if you somebody who got celiac disease or autoimmune issues. Okay. But overall, you just want to stay away from majority of bread, especially if it's just not made from wheat and flour, which the bread that you're eating is not. Okay? Hopefully y'all learned something today. Talk to y'all soon.